Welcome back. It's time for this week's Capitol Report with Pat McGuigan of CapitolBeatOK.com. And Pat, the sudden death of Justice Antonin Scalia set off a fierce battle in the nation's capital. It's likely to become even more spirited as President Obama decides on his nominee to replace Justice Scalia, who was a champion of the interpretivist legal school of thought that you've advocated. Give us some reflections on Scalia and what comes next.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with two quick vignettes. One time I walked into a conference in Washington, D.C. a little bit late, and I was in the back of the room, but the Attorney General Ed Meese saw me, and he said, "There's my friend Pat McGuigan, who does not suffer from the burden of a legal education. I'm a historian, you know." And everybody laughed, and he meant it as a compliment. The other quick story is that when Paul Tsongas told me a story one time at the Oklahoman, when he had first run for president, I think it was in '92 against Clinton, that Michael Dukakis, who got drilled in '88 in the election, called him up and he said, "Paul, good luck. I just want to tell you one thing. When this is over, you're going to love this country." And that's very interesting, because Tsongas and Dukakis both got bumped around, and yet they loved our country. They love our country in the case of Dukakis. Now, I share that because I've been feeling a lot of sentiment since this happened. On Ash Wednesday in the late '80s, when I was still working in Washington, I ran to St. Joseph's just in time for noon Mass on an Ash Wednesday, and I saw Antonin Scalia assisting Bill Brennan up the steps of St. Joseph's and into the church, and he helped him get ashes on his forehead and then go to communion. And I watched him leave after Mass and walk slowly back to the Supreme Court, the two of them together. I tell that story because they were very good friends despite their profound differences. The thing to remember about the Supreme Court and about courts of appeal is that a judge who's conscientious can reach results contrary to their own policy preferences. Scalia often did that on issues like criminal justice. In the case of Brennan, he affirmed the freedom of pro-lifers in a very important case out of Massachusetts because of speech, not because of the underlying issue. I say all that because the praise that has come to Scalia from his colleagues is no accident. It's a reflection of not only their affection, and deep affection in the case of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but also their respect for his integrity. What's coming next? I'm afraid there was a U.S. Senator in the mid-'80s who said, if they send Bork up, I'll have to support him, because Bork was so well qualified. Then he said, well, we don't want to affect the balance of the court in 1987, and he led the opposition. That's Joe Biden, who was a senator at the time, chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and he's now the vice president. Don't be surprised by what's coming. It's been brought on us by the polarization of our country and the depth of political intensity that now lies and resides within court decisions.
And just quickly, that photograph we saw was...
Yeah, it was from Antonin Scalia to me. He signed it qui ipsos custodiet custodes, which means he who guards the guardians. That's why I sometimes speak with nuance about these issues, because I know some of the players.
Well, thanks for bringing that to us. You can read more about these and other topics at CapitolBeatOK.com. For Pat McGuigan, I'm Alex Cameron. Have a great day.